على جبين سعادتي وأفكاري تجري الحروف بأشواق وأزهار.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اهتدى بهديه واستنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Fairness is one of the attributes and characteristics of Islam. And our religion is based on fairness with the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal. And there are so many evidences from the Quran and the Sunnah to support this. By the way, this has nothing to do with my lecture. It's just a starter and a warm-up. See, I'll be having a problem addressing you and then go all the way to address the brothers there. So it is unfair that they have placed me in a very awkward place. So I do apologize. Do not think that I'm neglecting you, but it is quite difficult for an old man like me to rotate this far. So this is, I just wanted to introduce my speech with this. Though fairness is a good subject if we were to go and talk about it, but maybe in another theme, inshallah. My talk is about two things that the Prophet ﷺ so often sought refuge in Allah Azza wa Jal from. There are so many hadiths that the Prophet ﷺ used to seek refuge in Allah from fitnatul ghina wa fitnatul faqr. And in other fitnatul ghina means from the trial of wealth and the trials of poverty. And there are, I just did my teeth, so watch out. And there are other hadiths that explain it a bit more when the Prophet says, alayhi salam, from the evil of the trial of wealth and from the evil of the trial of poverty. Now, what you will hear is nothing new to you. You all know this, inshallah, but this is the beauty of Islam. It is not something new that you learn, it is something that you remember. So it's a reminder. We hear it for the gazillion time, but maybe today it's your lucky day. Allah opens and expands your heart to accept and adapt. So many times we hear halal haram, we shrug our shoulders and move on. Maybe today is the day that Allah Azza wa Jal would make you be reborn again in an Islamic sense. So when we hear the hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ, there's so many, invoking Allah Azza wa Jal, making dua to Allah. What is our stance with such dua? What do we do? First of all, we have to benefit from it the most. Why? Because this is a revelation. This is our religion. Whatever the Prophet ﷺ uttered, whatever came from his mouth is Islam. He told us ﷺ that I was giving the Qur'an and similar to it, and there is the Sunnah, and we cannot separate them. They must go hand by hand. So whenever the Prophet says alayhi salatu wasalam something, we have to abide to it. We have to hold on to it. We have to understand and comprehend it. Because on the day of judgment, either it's going to benefit you or it's going to be against you. So first of all, we have to benefit from it. Second of all, what we learn from this hadith of seeking refuge in Allah, the Prophet ﷺ used to seek refuge from Allah in a long list of things, a lot of things. of being a coward, of being lazy, of doing things, of being enabled, of debt, of wealth, the evil of wealth, the evil of poverty, old age, so many bad neighbors. What should we do with these things? First of all, we have to acknowledge that the Prophet ﷺ was saved by Allah from the trials of this dunya. So neither wealth nor poverty would affect his heart ﷺ. Then why is he seeking refuge in Allah? One, to teach his ummah. So we have to learn from what he had done by following his footsteps. Two, by acknowledging the dangers of the things that he used to seek refuge in Allah from. Because he would not seek refuge from mosquitoes, from flies, from ants, from dirt. These are trivial things. He would seek refuge in Allah from serious things. Thirdly, fourthly, who's counting? The Prophet ﷺ is highlighting a very important issue that we tend to neglect, and that is the power of dua. We always put dua at the bottom of the list of our priorities. So if my child is sick, what do? Take him to the doctor, buy medication, try to measure his temperature every 5 to 10 minutes, do all the necessary means to get him cured and healed. And at the end of the day, I may try for ruqya, I may try for dua. Maybe it works. But when? At the end of the list. The Prophet's way ﷺ was never like that. First thing comes first. The first thing on the list is what? Dua. And if you want to know whether you're close to Allah or far away from Allah, look at how you deal with Allah Azza wa Jal. If you're constantly making dua, I have an appointment at 10 o'clock and the traffic jam in Kuala Lumpur is horrific. It's really bad. And I'm gonna be late for my dua. What do? I call the brother. I try to check the different routes. I do this. No. The first thing I do, Ya Allah, make it easy. Ya Allah, make the road open for me. I have dua. When I'm in debt, I make dua. When I am going to meet families and relatives and give them da'wah, before I go, I make dua that Allah expand their hearts and that they accept my dua. Before I go to a sports match, I pray to Allah that He breaks his leg, my opponent, so that I can beat him easily. And then he becomes sick, I visit him and I give him da'wah and I give him, so I get 2 birds with 1 stone. Yani, you get my point. So dua is essential in our lives, but we are so far away from Islam. Yes, I have a long beard and I'm wearing maxi thobe. It's above the ankles, and I have a big miswak in my pocket. But is this Islam? The way of the Prophet ﷺ is Islam. So you have to look where you stand from the religion of Allah, from the way of the Prophet ﷺ, so that you can classify and label yourself as a good Muslim, or, as they say in French, comme ci comme ça. Now, the Prophet ﷺ used to seek refuge in Allah from these 2 important things. شر فتنة الغنى وشر فتنة الفقر. From the evil trials of poverty and of wealth, of being rich. So, when he says from the evil trial, so does this mean that trials can be evil and trials can be positive and good? The answer is yes. Definitely, this can be the case. And how is that? First of all, poverty is hated by everyone. The brothers and sisters who love poverty, raise your hands please. Alhamdulillah, 100% voting that they don't like poverty. Yet there is good in poverty. The Prophet says, alayhi salatu wassalam, two things that the son of Adam hates. He hates death, and death is better for him than trials. Now, death is better for you than trial, but you hate it. What do you mean, Sheikh? Trial. It's better for you to die rather than to be tried in your religion, being oppressed under gunpoint. Either you reject Islam, either you accept kufr, or we will kill you. What's best? To die. When you see that your daughter is not abiding by the hijab, that your son is in a nightclub and does not pray, that your wife is disobedient and she does things that goes against what Allah loves, when your parents are mocking you and ridiculing you, all of these are trials. Now, some of them, it's good for you to be patient and tolerant, and you cannot live without trials. No one on earth lives without trials. True? Even the Prophet ﷺ, he was tested by Allah. He was beaten, he was mocked of, he was slandered against his beloved wife. If I list to you the calamities and trials that the Prophet ﷺ had faced, it only made him stronger. As they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And this is the fact. So we all have to be tested, but the outcome of your test is your graduation certificate. Either you end up in paradise, alhamdulillah, I passed, with honor, and a recommendation to print my thesis. Or, apologies, I failed, I'm spending time in hell. May Allah protect us all. So, death can be better for you. The second thing the Prophet says, alayhi salatu wasalam, and the son of Adam hates to have less money. And less money is best for you on the day of judgment because you will have less accountability. And this is something that every one of us know. On the day of judgment, the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, the feet of the son of Adam will not move until he's asked about four, in a narration about five. Among them, his wealth. Where did he gain it from? The vast majority of us say, Alhamdulillah, we've gained our wealth from halal. MashaAllah, I work in a halal job. I do my 8 hours or 9 hours fully. I don't read newspapers during working hours. I don't go and have breakfast, lunch and dinner during working hours. I don't go and drive my children to and off school and end up working half an hour a day. No, alhamdulillah, my rizq is halal. Yes, but the hadith is not over yet. You will be asked about your wealth, where you gained it from and where you had spent it in. Oops, now, this is difficult. Yes, we earn halal, but we spend in haram. We're extravagant. We waste our money. We buy haram things. We listen to haram things. We watch haram things. You go to the brother's house, and inside his house, I can see a statue of Buddha. What is this, Sheikh? Oh, this is art. And then a camel from Saudi, and then pharaohs and pyramids from Egypt. And this is haram. I said, Sheikh, I cannot break it. I paid so much money in it. This is what you will be asked upon on the day of judgment. So, there are benefits for being poor. And the scholars agree that when a poor person is patient, you have sabr, then you are in the highest levels of Jannah. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, I stood at the gates of paradise and I saw the vast majority of people entering it are the masakeen. And what is meant by masakeen? Those who do not have wealth, the poor. And this does not mean that the rich are in hell. Watch out, and I'm seeing people reaching out for their wallets. No, wait, not now. I will take your donations afterwards, not now. This doesn't mean that the rich are in hell. The Prophet said, I saw that the vast majority of people in Jannah are the poor. Yet, the wealthy are being on its gates, not sent to hell. Then what are they doing? They're making declarations. Where did you get this money from? Where did you spend it? So they're taking a lot of time to justify. How much time? The Prophet said, alayhi salam, 500 years. The poor are in Jannah 500 years before the rich, enjoying their time. And the rich are not in hell, but they're just submitting their tax returns and the things that they have to be questioned about. So, what is the evil in the trials of poverty? We looked at the good side. So what is the bad side? Now, as stated before, each and everyone on earth will be tested. Surah Al-Mulk, known as Surah, it's the first lecture, and one of the downsides, one of the shortcomings of having a first lecture is people had breakfast and they're feeling a bit sleepy. Surah Al-Mulk, known as Surah Tabarak, the second ayah of Surah Tabarak, الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. It is He who created death and life. Why? To test you as to which of you is best indeed. So this life and death is to test which one of us is best indeed. So each one who is tested, either you pass or you fail. This is life. And poverty makes a lot of the Muslims fail. Why? The Prophet says, alayhi salatu wassalam, among the things he used to seek refuge in, and this is a spoiler alert. I think one of the lecturers have this as a main topic, so I'm going to spoil it for him. Who cares? The Prophet used to say, alayhi salatu wassalam, and seek refuge, and says, "O Allah, I seek refuge from debt." So one of the companions said, "O Prophet of Allah, so often you seek refuge from debts. Is borrowing haram?" Of course not. Then why do you seek refuge in Allah from debt? The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, when a person is in debt, in order to justify this, he will speak and lie. The debtors come, "Where is my money?" I had a flat tire. When I used to teach in high school 30 years ago, I used to have a student coming to me every week, missing one day in the week. And every time I ask him, "What happened?" He said, "My mother died." I said, "This is the 6th time your mother dies. What is this? Is she a cat? She has one soul left?" Some people keep on lying to justify what they're doing. So when you're in debt and creditors want their money, what do you say? You lie. And the Prophet says, alayhi salatu wasalam, and he promises and breaks his promise. So poverty may bring you evil trials, and this is what we seek refuge in Allah Azza wa Jal. Among the evil trials of poverty is envy. When I see someone who's a bit richer than me, or a lot richer than me, a real mu'min, what would he say? what would he say? Allahumma barik. May Allah bless your beautiful car. May Allah bless your beautiful house. I like the brands you're wearing. May Allah bless you. This is a real mu'min. He will feel happy for his brother. The average J.I. Jones, the average Tom, Dick and Harry would look and you can see sparks coming from his eyes. He doesn't deserve this. He doesn't deserve to have this car. He's married to a good woman, haram. I should have been in his shoes, or at least in his pants. This is not fair. So he keeps on being envious, hates goodness happening to the Muslims around him. This is the evil trials of what? Poverty. Because you will never see someone who's rich being envious to someone who is poor, driving my E63 AMG GTS, and then I see someone with a Tata or with a Hyundai, and I say, MashaAllah, he has a Hyundai. Nobody does this. You're always envious to someone who is richer than you, and this is the trials of poverty. Poor people, they will always look to what the rich people have in their hands. So if I know someone who's rich, whenever he speaks about projects, and I say, okay, don't forget us. Yani, 20% contract, it is good. If you don't like your car, you can throw it always at me. If you have extra millions, I'm there. So they're always greedy, looking at what people have in their hands. And this is a very uneasy feeling. When you're with someone and every time you do something, people look, is he gonna drop me a bone? This is good for dogs, but it's not dignifying for Muslims. A Muslim is always dignified. He doesn't look at what people have in their hands. Part of the evil trials of poverty is that you have to humiliate yourself. So always a poor person next to a rich one, next to a person in the government, next to a prince, next to people of authority, they're always not humbled, humiliated. And they feel this inferiority complex in them that would eventually lead them to not being satisfied with what you have at hand. And this is one of the biggest causes of misery, depression, anxiety, and not living a good life. When you find a poor person and you talk to him, how are you? Allahumma lakal hamd, ya Rabbi lakal hamd. I have everything in life. And you look at him, this guy's crazy. What does he have? One of the Salaf once passed by a man with no arms and no legs, and he's blind. And he's saying, Alhamdulillah, hamdan kathiran tayyiban mubarakan fi, Allahumma lakal hamdu wa shukr. So the man stopped. He said, with all due respect, uncle, you don't have hands, arms, no arms from the shoulders up. You don't have legs. You can't walk. You can't see. What are you praising Allah over here? What do you have? You're as good as dead. He said, my son, if Allah granted me a grateful heart and a remembering tongue, what more could I ask for? La ilaha illallah. A brother in the UK, I came here 3 years ago in Kuala Lumpur. How much time do I have? A lot of time? Khalas, take his word. I have nothing. This is the only lecture I have, so I have all day long. I came here 3 years ago to participate in the Muslim Global Leaders program. It's a management program for the Islamic Development Bank, but I was the Islamic perspective of the training. So leadership, succession planning, etc. I do the seerah part of it so that they go side by side. The brother who was the coach, the instructor for the administrative side, he's in his mid-30s. Last week, I got a call from his father telling me that he had a form of cancer in his spine and now he's paralyzed and in hospital for 3 weeks. I was devastated. The guy is taller than me, is mashallah, young and healthy and practicing. So I give the man a call. Subhanallah. His call almost brought tears to my eyes. He, over the 6 or 7 minutes, was saying nothing except Allahumma lakal hamd. I don't know what to do in reply to Allah's grace upon me. Allah has chosen me to be tested. And Allah told us that He only tests those whom He loves. So what have I done to be honored like this? Allahumma lakal hamd. I am in a hospital. I'm being treated by the best of doctors. If Allah does not restore my feet and health and agility and mobility again, I have no regrets because Allah has given me so many years of good life, and alhamdulillah, and these are my sins. And what is this? Is he the preacher or I am? Wallahi, I was so happy for him because the greatest ni'mah from Allah upon any one of us is content, to be happy with so little you have. Once, about 15 years ago, I visited a village in the rural areas where I live, and I thought that we had no poverty, but apparently we had big time poverty. We went to a house and an old woman in her 70s, and this was on the 27th of Ramadan. So we brought her a big box of dates. She started crying. So we say, "Auntie, why are you crying?" She said, "Wallahi, today is the 27th. This is the first day I see dates." And this is 2 hours drive from where I live. We went to another house and they were cooking milk. You know, I don't know what they do. They put it on fire and they cook it. Milk. I don't know. I'm a yogurt type, but alhamdulillah. So we brought the lady food and she said, no, alhamdulillah, we have our breakfast, fatur. The neighbors next door don't have a thing. And what were we bringing her? Dates. Nothing. She still rejected it, being content with what she has. This is the richest person on earth. And if you have jet planes, but still envious that you don't have a 787 or a Dreamliner, you are the poorest person on earth. Content. So, in a nutshell, poverty has evil trials. Now, the 1 million Kuwaiti dinar question is, how is it that the Prophet ﷺ used to seek refuge in Allah from poverty, but he used to say, Allahumma ahyini miskinan, wa amitni miskinan, wa hshurni fi zumrat al-masakin. There is a difference between miskin and faqir. Usually, in verse 60, Surah 9, Surah At-Tawbah, إِنَّمَا الصَّدَقَاتُ لِلْفُقَرَاءِ وَالْمَسَاكِينَ. Zakat is verily paid to 8 categories. The first 2, faqir and miskin. What is the difference? I'm not going to go into this because it's going to take time. However, usually miskin is a better level than the faqir. Faqir, the one who's poor, does not have enough to eat lunch. Miskin has lunch, has dinner, but does not have what is needed for a decent life. So he has food, but he doesn't have money to go to the hospital or get medication. He will live. He has money and a car, but he doesn't have money to take his children to school or to buy them shoes. So this is a miskin. So when the Prophet says, "Oh Allah, make me live as a miskin and make me die as a miskin and resurrect me on the day of judgment with the masakin," does this mean that the Prophet is making dua to be poor? No. Miskin also means humble. So the Prophet is saying, oh Allah, do not make me with the arrogant. Do not make me with those who show off and look down at people. Make me among the humble, among the easygoers, because this is how a Muslim should be. A Muslim should be easygoing, should be humble. When he meets another Muslim, he doesn't check his ethnicity. Like so many Muslims nowadays. When you meet them, Salam alaikum, he looks at you. Alaikum salam. What are you? What do you mean? What are you? I'm a human being. Yeah, I know, I can see. You don't have a tail. What are you? I'm a Muslim. What kind of a Muslim? What do you mean? Where are you from? What's your ethnicity? What's your tribe? What's your father's origin? What's your mother? Are you gonna marry me? With all why are you asking so many weird questions? There is no humbleness. There is no people down to earth. And this is why in Salat, the Prophet used to say, alayhi salam, istawu, i'tadilu, aqimu sufufakum, wa la takhtalifu, do not disunite. And leenu fi aydi ikhwanikum, be soft with the hands of those next to you. So many times you go to Muslim masjids, mosques, in the first row, people of sunnah, of practicing, and there's a gap. You want to come in, the one on the left and the one on the right, they're trying to play American football. They want to attack you. Why? Especially the elders. Allah, they will be angry with me now. The elders don't want you to come close to them. So when you stand, they bring a ruler and they measure how many centimeters, and they look at you, they scold you, they make you feel uneasy. I'm in a masjid, akhi, I'm not in a synagogue. This is the house of Allah. You all have to be happy that I'm coming and praying. We have to be brothers. This is where shaitan comes. So the Prophet is asking Allah Azza wa Jal to be among the what? The humble, the easygoing. So, no one calls for poverty or makes dua for poverty. Should I smile? Okay. No one does this, but at the same time, is wealth and being rich a good thing? Who doesn't want to be rich? Raise your hands. Okay. Who wants to be rich? Look under your seats. I'm joking. Well, it would be nice to have $1 million or $1 million ringgit under your seat, but this is the straight path, not the crooked path. We have to. If you go back to wealth, does it have evil for the trials? Is it possible? We know the goodness of being wealthy. So what are the good sides of being wealthy? First of all, how many doors are there in Jannah? 7, the brothers say. Ya Sheikh, you're going to Jannah and you don't know how many doors? 8. We have 8 doors, so remember this. Now 8 doors for Jannah, one of them is known only to be admitting those people of charity. So if you have money and you give in charity, the poor cannot enter from there. They don't have wealth. You are blessed, one of 8 from Allah to enter from that gate. And wealth is an adornment of dunya. Allah says in the Quran, wealth and children are but adornment of this worldly life. So this is something that is looked and sought after. And it is a blessing of Allah when the companions of Muhajirin, the immigrants, came to the Prophet and complained, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They said, our brothers from the Ansar of Medina, they have farms, they have wealth, and they give in charity. We don't have anything. What to do? The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَن يَشَاءُ. This is the favor and blessing of Allah. He gives it to whomever He wishes. So I cannot do, this is something Allah favored the rich with. And look at the companions of Allah, the 10 heaven bound. The vast majority of them were not rich, they were multi-millionaires. When you speak about Abu Bakr, for example, the Prophet said, ﷺ, no wealth has benefited me more than the wealth of Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr bought Bilal ibn Rabah. He bought him with his money. Umar ibn al-Khattab used to see Bilal and Abu Bakr walking side by side. And he said, Subhanallah, Abu Bakr, he is our Sayyid, he is our master, and he bought our master, referring to Bilal. This is Umar. So, wealth is good. And Amr ibn al-As, the Prophet used to give him money, and Amr says, no, this is not why I embraced Islam for. I don't want your money. And he said, Amr, take it. The best money is good money in the hands of a good man. Because when you have money, what are you going to do with it? I'm going to the nightclub. I'm going to buy whiskey. I'm going to buy drugs. I'm going to do haram things. Then this is bad for you. A good man with good money does wonders for da'wah, for Islam, for charity, for sponsoring widows and orphans, and etc. And not only that, the Prophet ﷺ used to highlight the benefits of money when Sulaim came to him with her son. What is his son name? Abdullah. Muhammad, huh? Anas. Sisters are right. Anas ibn Malik. She said, O Prophet of Allah, your servant is a learned boy. Make dua for him. And the Prophet raised his hand and he said, alayhi salam, O Allah, make his wealth a lot and grant him offspring a lot and bless him in what you have given him and forgive his sins. Anas says about himself, everyone's farm produces once a year except mine. It produces twice a year. This is dua of the Prophet. And I am one of the richest of people of Medina. As for my offsprings, I have buried with my own hands 100 of my sons, grandsons, and great-grandsons. And I'm still living because Allah prolonged my life. As for the third da'wah, may Allah forgive his sins, I'm still waiting for Allah's favor and blessing. And we believe that Allah has forgiven his sins. May Allah be pleased with him. So when you use wealth in paying people's debts, in helping them and giving them charity, this is ni'mah, this is khair, this is a lot of great blessings upon you. But there are an evil side for that. And where does the evil side for wealth lie? Usually, whoever has a lot of money, his iman is weaker. And vice versa. Whoever is poor, his iman is spiking high because he has less to think about. Poor people go to bed early. They sleep well. Rich people don't. I got 2 million ringgit last night. What I'm going to do with it? How can I make it 10? And if I have 10, how can I make it 50? And he keeps on thinking of the small little details instead of being happy. And this is why Allah Azza wa Jal told us, you told me there's no time limit, so don't show me the time cards. I'm going to finish my lecture inshallah, by hook or by crook. So, see, you distracted me now. Allah Azza wa Jal told us in the Quran, كَلَّا إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَيَطْغَى أَرَّآهُ اسْتَغْنَى. Whenever you become rich, you turn to be a tyrant. And this is mentioned in the Quran. Allah Azza wa Jal, listen to this ayah. وَلَوْ بَسَطَ اللَّهُ الرِّزْقَ لِعِبَادِهِ لَبَغَوْا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Two things. Allah says, and if Allah had extended excessively provisions for his servants, they would have committed tyranny. So, rizq is accompanied by what? By tyranny. And this is the norm. So many of us know that if Allah gives them money, they will not use it all in halal. Yes, I know that I will 10% give in halal, but 90% I will abuse full time. And a lot of us know the real fact. As long as you are middle class or lower class, your iman is strong. But if Allah gives you money, you know from yourself that you're gonna drop salat, you're not gonna fast Mondays and Thursdays, you're not gonna visit your family more often, you're gonna be occupied by business deals and increasing your wealth and doing this and that, yet no one is paying heed. And this is why one of the evil shortcomings of wealth is that it causes people to love money more than anything else. To the extent that I, being rich, can sever my kinship. I can easily not see my uncle or aunt or cousins for years. Why? They ask money from me. They ask for a loan, so I cut them off. Though I have money, but because they dared and asked for a loan, I will never return their calls. If I were poor, would I have done this? Definitely not. It also calls people to consume your rights with false justifications. If you're my partner and we have a dispute, I can lie, I can swear, I can forge documents so that I can eat your rights and your money. And I've seen this, wallahi, with people with long beards. When it comes to dispute, they fight with one another and their true identity is exposed. For what? For money. Real believers are easy going. You think that the money is yours? Take it. No problem. Real evil people who fall into the evil trial of wealth, wallahi, they will swear, they will lie, they will cheat, they will do whatever they can to win. Now, the card is 5 minutes, I think, so I'm not going to look again. But the Prophet ﷺ feared something upon his ummah. He never feared poverty. He feared what? He feared wealth. He said ﷺ, by Allah, I do not fear poverty for you, but I fear prosperity in this world as those who came before you became prosperous. And you start to compete with one another, this is what he fears, in worldly gains as they did, then you will be destroyed as they were. Look at the Muslim world. Are they brothers? Do they love one another? They compete over trivial things. Look at your colleague at work, in the university, at school. Look at your relative, your brother-in-law. Of course, it's your wife's mistake. She's coming, look at my brother-in-law, he bought a new car, he did this. And you feel jealous, and you don't like it, and you hate him, and you want to take his guts out, but you can't. And this is what competing is all about, and this is what brings the most evil in us. Part of the evil trials of wealth is that people don't have patience. When Allah Azza wa Jal tests us with a low income or an amount of debt, what can we do? We're patient. But when Allah gives us a lot of wealth, are we patient? No, because we have to be patient from spending it. And this is why the Salaf used to say, Allah tested us with hardship and we were patient. And after a few years, Allah tested us with ease and wealth and we could not stand the test. Incontent is the best remedy for someone who's poor and who's rich. Content is the formula for happiness. And there are many points that I would like to discuss, but I feel someone is pulling my thobe from, I don't know. the guy's doing something. So, in a nutshell, ask Allah Azza wa Jal to bless you with whatever is good for you. Don't go out of your way. Oh Allah, I want this, I want this, I want... You never know whether it is good or not. Ask Allah to be rich, because the upper hand is always better than the lower hand. The upper hand is the what? The giving. And do not look to your right and left. Only look in the mirror. What you have heard now is either a proof for your sake or a proof against you. Look in the mirror. If you're rich, am I doing what pleases Allah with the wealth I'm given? If you're poor, ask yourself while looking in the mirror, am I being patient and being in content? No one says accept what is happening to you without trying to change. If you're poor, change your situation by working, by trying to gain more knowledge, by spending more time in trying to change your status, which is good. But at the same time, your heart is what counts. And this is why the Salaf used to say, oh Allah, make the dunya, this world, in our hands and do not make it in our hearts. If the dunya is in your heart, you need a heart surgeon to take it out. And usually it will kill you. But if the dunya is in your hand, you toss it away, it comes back again. Nothing is different because my heart is still intact. So I seek Allah Azza wa Jal refuge from the evil trials of wealth, and I seek Allah's refuge from the evil trials of poverty. هذا والله أعلم ونسبة العلم إليه أسلم وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.